Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the CliftonStrengthsFinder strength of communication. Thank you for joining me, and we're going to jump into this topic. Just a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com. I do Enneagram coaching, relationship coaching. Also, I have a lot of different courses available on demand, as well as some courses on CliftonStrengthsFinder. So if you're interested in this topic and improving your life, making your life better, check out my website. Also, if you just join my Enneagram community on my homepage, I have a free gift, a download for you of a mini course, and thank you. All right, so let's jump into this strength of communication. Now, finally, thank you, Lord. Finally, we've got a strength that I scored really well at, communication. In fact, this was my number 2 strength. Number 1, positivity. Number 2, communication. This is under the realm of influencing, the domain of influencing. CliftonStrengthsFinder, if you're familiar with it, it basically divides up everything into 4 domains. And I'm going to put those on the screen for you so you can see what I'm talking about. There's executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And under each one of those, there's 10 or so different strengths. And in the domain of influencing, first we have the activator, then command, and then third is communication. It goes on to competition, maximizer, self-assurance, significance, and woo. But right now we're talking about communication. So what is communication? Well, let's start with the little card that was provided in the CliftonStrengthsFinder's pack that kind of summarizes this strength. And let's talk about this and see what it is, and then maybe how we could take some steps to improve in our communication with other people and getting our thoughts out and expressing our thoughts. So communication is described as people exceptionally talented in communication generally find it easy to put their thoughts into words. They are good conversationalists and presenters. So in other words, we like to talk a lot. All right. So here's the I am statement. I am verbally expressive. So if I'm thinking something, I'm able to articulate that and get the words out probably before I even know I'm doing it. I'm just getting the words out. I would think a lot of extroverts might be naturally good at communication. And then my dog just came in. The I will statement is I will connect with others through words. I bring, or the contribution, I bring attention to messages that must be heard. So if you're, high in communication, I think I'm also high like in learning. So I love to learn information, and then I love to share it and explain it. And I'm a 7, so I get passionate and excited. An Enneagram 7, so I get passionate and excited about information, and then I want to share that information so everybody can benefit from it. Okay, so I am verbally expressive. I will connect with others through words. I bring attention to messages that must be heard. I need a sounding board or an audience. That one kind of makes me feel bad. Like people are not just sounding boards and audiences, but if I wasn't careful, I might kind of think of people as an audience. Okay, I love stories and storytelling. I would also say I love having something that is interesting, something that I find exciting, something that I want to share with other people. I love that thrill of, do you know about this? What do you think about this? Have you read about this? Have you heard about this? This could change your life. And I can see all of the 7-ness, all of the, the desire to gain information, and then the desire to communicate that. So I hate experience without expression. I hate experience without expression. In other words, can you imagine like going on a trip to Italy or going on a trip to France or going on a trip to Mexico and spending a week there by yourself alone, and then coming back and having no one to share the events with, to have nobody to talk about the adventure, or nobody to share the experience with. My dog. Going on a trip in California and going by yourself, first of all, I can't imagine. But then coming back and having no one to share that information with, nobody to talk about or tell what happened or tell your adventures to. Like, that just feels awful. So I hate experience without expression. I hate experiencing things and not being able to articulate and talk about it that thrill of seeing a great movie and then telling somebody, man, that was the great movie. This is what happened. This is what I was feeling. This is what I was thinking. I thought at this part, the hero was going to lose his life. Okay, the metaphor is silence is not golden. For some people, silence is golden. Probably for some 5s and maybe some 9s and, maybe some 1s. Silence is golden, but not with me. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get the information out. Let's experience it together. The barrier is this person could maybe be considered a blabbermouth. So, good information on the card. Now, I'm also looking at this book called StrengthsFinder 2.0 by Tom Rath, and he says, you like to explain, you like to describe, you like to host, you like to speak in public, you like to write. Hello, I do all those things. And I do enjoy it. It does feel very natural to me. It does come very natural to me. You find a need to bring them to life and to energize them, to make things exciting and vivid. And that sounds like you're in the world of 7s. And I think, several different Enneagram types could probably score really high in communication. I mean, really anybody could. Just depends on who you are. But I would think if you were trying to connect us with the Enneagram, I would say 7s, type 3s, probably some 2s, probably some 4s, would all be really natural, or find it more natural. And probably like when you get to the 4-wing 3s, the 3-wing 2s. I think when you get more expressive people, probably extroverts, are much more likely to want to communicate and feel the impulse to communicate and share their thoughts and ideas. And I think even 8s, probably a lot of 8s would maybe be good with communication and being clear and direct and wanting to get their point across, wanting to be understood, wanting to give direction and instruction. So imagine a lot of different Enneagram types could do well at this, but I think as a 7, I'm probably pretty hardwired to do this. Love metaphors, and metaphors are when you explain something with a symbolic issue. Like you could say, imagine that your life is like a picnic, and every picnic needs order and structure, or it's just a field. And so a picnic has to have blankets and food, and there has to be preparations for it. Every picnic and life can be like that. And so you use metaphors, like crashing tides. We got to go ahead and accept the internet. We got to go ahead and accept the internet. We got to accept computers. It's like a crashing tide. If you refuse and resist, then you're probably just going to be swamped and not have a career. You're not going to have a job. You got to accept things in life. So I tend to think in metaphors, and I imagine that people that are gifted in communication probably do use a lot of storytelling. Remember, that's the speaking style of the type 7 is storytelling. Storytelling, metaphors, imagery, anecdotes, phrases, a lot of good, powerful phrases out there. I read a good, powerful phrase this morning. It said, hey, it's not a crime to be stupid, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go free. That's kind of a snarky comment, but I thought it was funny. All right, so talk only about things you're really passionate about, and always use personal examples. That's a good, I remember hearing don't use a lot of personal examples because nobody cares about you in your life. So use a lot of generic examples. But I find personal examples, of things that have happened to you and things you've experienced, that there is a certain richness in that people can identify with. And by the way, nobody can argue with your experience. If you say something happened to you, they may think you're crazy, but they can't say, no, it didn't. And I think personal stories are very compelling. That's why marketing uses athletes who use this foot lotion and, it made my feet so much healthier, and yours could too, because they're using the personal stories of somebody that you admire and respect to sell a product. Well, we may not be interested in selling products, but we may be interested in persuading people to create more options in their life, or to better understand the world around them, to better understand whatever topic. So I would think people who score really high in communication might do really well as teachers, might do really well in ministry, might do well in marketing or sales, very persuasive people. Presenters. Think about like presenters, like getting up and doing a presentation, doing workshops, writing. If you're more disciplined, writing information. All of those things I think could be, even media, like doing media, like whatever forms of media are available to you. When you are presenting, pay close attention to your audience. Practice. This is interesting because you might be really skilled at communication. You might cut corners in your preparation, and that's a mistake. I think improv is really good, and improv is natural, and people can relate to for someone who's relying on improv. But the more you prepare, and the more you know and study and learn and gain information, the more natural your improv will be, the more effective your improv will be. So I would just tell people who like me, are skilled in communication or have the strength of communication, don't rely on that solely. Oh, I know I can wing it. Oh, I know I'm good with a crowd. Oh, I'm good with speaking. Well, don't be too confident in your ability that you don't build a reservoir of information. In other words, study, learn, and grow, and have something important to say. Have something worth people listening to. And you're naturally excited, you're naturally engaging in the way you talk and the way you communicate, but that doesn't give you the right to wing it. So prepare. I read, I study, I research, I think about, I ponder these ideas, and then I present them. So I think be careful if you score high in communication that you don't rely on your ability to sort of wing it, that you don't adequately prepare. You need to be prepared. And the more prepared you are, ironically, the more able you are to wing it effectively. Okay, so make sure you have substance. There, that's a good way of saying it. Make sure you have substance. That's going to take study. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take you taking some time to think and be disciplined and read. And I got a couple other things. Practice regularly. Join speaking clubs. Take a class. Teach a class. Take the opportunity to teach a class. Maybe at your local church or community center, or even just like on YouTube or Udemy or Teachable or something like that. Create a class. Make yourself accountable to master information and then share information. Journal. All these things can be productive. Study great communicators, engage in active listening, participate in group discussions. And again, all these things can improve your ability to grow in communication. Now, if you struggle with this, and I know some people do, I get it, some people do. Some people have a hard time communicating, and maybe you didn't score very high in this. I remember teaching a speech class years ago, and there was a girl in the class who literally was shaking during the whole speech and then just broke down and started sobbing because it was just too much. It was too overwhelming for her. She was a super introverted person, and she was just kind of hard on herself, and she was doing fine, but whatever conversation was happening in her mind was overwhelming her ability to show up and be present to the moment. And she was just, she just collapsed in the middle of the speech. And compassionately, I was like, okay, you can be done. You can be done. All right. Now let's talk about this. And when she was able to talk about it, we talked about it. And she improved during the year, but it was very difficult for her. And I realized for some people, this is not going to come easy. So you're going to have to work at it. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to take opportunities, push yourself, challenge yourself to grow in this skill of communication. Look, why? Because you're an important person. What you have to say is important. You're learning information, and you need to be able to share that in a way that connects with other people. And it's a skill you can learn. Now, it may never be in your top 10. That's okay. I have a lot of things that are not my greatest strength, but I intend to grow in them and to try and do better. And we all want to improve in any way we can. So if you need to grow in this skill of communication, I just want to remind you it is possible, and you're going to have to make some effort. You're going to have to take some opportunities to put yourself out there, teach a class, that kind of thing, which is maybe challenging for you. But you could always start with just 10 minutes. Ask the teacher, can I do 10 minutes of a presentation? Can I give a presentation? Or if you find something you're passionate about, like maybe you love Star Wars or Harry Potter or some movie series that you like, or some hobby like Pokemon cards or stamp collecting or comic books or anything. Whatever you're passionate about, ask a few people if they would sit in a circle. I know it sounds corny. Ask a few people if they would sit in a circle and allow you to present why you're passionate about something. Just kind of like show and tell, like we used to do in school. Ask a few people if they'd sit in the living room and give you 10 minutes to let you talk about something that you found interesting, and get up and present your information. Try to articulate what it is you're feeling, what you're thinking, and just watch the results. And then when you're done, if you're brave enough, ask them for feedback. What did you think about that? How did I present? What could I have done better? Did I ever lose your attention? Did you ever find your mind wandering? Why? When? And remember, people are naturally engaged in stories, so use storytelling. Think about what your main point is and be willing to put yourself out there and grow in this skill of communication, because you have a lot to say, you have a lot of important things to say, and we want to hear them. So thank you guys for joining me on this video, and as always, be present to life.